Ezra is back. Thanks to the Ahsoka show, we get to see our Jedi friend in all his glory. But it's been over 10 years since we've last seen him. So the question is, how strong has Ezra gotten? An orphan from Lothal, Ezra was able to connect to the Force from a young age without training well past the stages he should be at. But these skills would be multiplied tenfold when he joined up with his master, Kanan Jarrus. But note that Kanan himself never made it past a Padawan due to Order 66. When they began training, Kanan thought he was unfit to mentor the teenager. This is because Kanan was especially protective and worried about Ezra and felt like he deserved a proper teacher. However, as the show went on, Kanan took his role as Ezra's teacher rather seriously and showed him how to train creatures as well as amplifying other force powers. Ezra seems to use Form 4 much like Qui-Gon did, using speed and strength when necessary, using hand-to-hand and alternative fighting a fair amount. He got trained in Form 3 by Kanan, which was his master Balaba's favorite form when she died, but you also see Ahsoka show Form 5 sequences to him as well. Plus, Kanan must have shown him Form 1 to get him on point with the basics. So Forms 1, 3, 4, and 5 are known at least by Ezra. As the storylines of Rebels progressed, it became clear that his Force abilities were stronger than most Jedi, and quite possibly his own master. Ezra shows great promise in the use of the Force telekinesis because he became strong enough that he was able to match Kanan's prowess in this use of the technique. But Kanan wasn't the only teacher for Ezra, as he also spent some time with Maul. Maul taught Ezra the Sith code and encouraged him to embrace the dark side. His encounter with Maul left an effect on Ezra, as he was able to open up the Sith holocron, something only one who could think like a Sith could open. Ezra would flirt with the dark side throughout the series, giving him strength in times when he needed it. From a certain point of view, this made Ezra extremely strong as he was able to use both sides of the Force without being corrupted. This is because of his teachings from Kanan, which would end in the death of Kanan Jarrus. But by this time, Ezra is very connected to the Force and allows it to speak to him like the Jedi used to. But Ezra would honor his master by continuing to be the Jedi everyone knew he could be. Ezra's proficiency in using the ability to control and speak to creatures became so strong that he could communicate with an entire pod of Purrgil, which are gigantic space whales that can travel through hyperspace at will. He commanded the Purrgil to take the Chimera away from Lothal. As such, Ezra is likely the strongest when communicating with other living creatures. These events bring us up to the modern times with the Ahsoka show, where we finally see Ezra after a 10-year gap. Ezra is even more attuned to the Force than he once was, using it solely instead of a lightsaber. He could deflect blaster bolts with the Force if he wanted to. When he uses the Force to hold Shin back, her lightsaber starts to bend, which we didn't see happen when Vader fought the third sister, but Vader most likely used the Force to hold back the Inquisitor rather than just the lightsaber. But Ezra directly interacted with the plasma, suggesting that he could do the same with blaster bolts. We even see Kylo Ren do this using the dark side of the Force, so if Ezra could mimic this using the light, it would set him up to be quite powerful. In many ways, Ezra has become what the Jedi should have been, entrusting the Force and its abilities. He probably won't surpass Luke in strength in the Force, but he could very well in knowledge, having used both sides and been taught by more consistent teachers for longer. So when gauging in his strength, I think he will fall into his own category. Ahsoka and Luke are both Force plus saber fighters. Ezra seems to be hinting towards a more Force exclusive way of being a Jedi. So while he's more attuned to the Force than many other Jedi, he lacks the skills in saber dueling and other qualities of a modern Jedi. But nonetheless, a strong user of the Force. Where do you guys think Ezra falls on the power scale? Let me know in the comments below.